Today I'm going to talk to you guys about a player who in his prime was considered to be one of the best drag flickers in the sport of hockey in the world. I'm talking about Sandeep Singh. Now, Sandeep Singh has been widely acknowledged as one of the greatest Indian captains that has ever been produced in the country. At the age of 17, he became the youngest Indian to have ever represented the country at the Olympic stage when he represented India at the 2004 Athens Games. A year later, he took part in the Junior World Cup in 2005 and came out of it as the highest goal scorer. Now, in 2006 came his biggest moment. He was called up to the senior India squad for the 2006 World Cup to be held in Germany. Now, this is where his entire life changed. He was traveling from Ambala to Delhi to join his teammates for the pre-tournament camp, and he was taking the Kalka Shatabdi from Ambala to Delhi. Now, in this journey, he was accidentally hit by a bullet that was fired by a railway officer. Now, the bullet hit his lower abdomen and he was bleeding a lot. He was immediately rushed to an Ambala hospital, but the hospital wasn't big enough to treat his injury, and thus they asked him to go to a bigger hospital. So he was moved to the Chandigarh hospital. Now, this entire process of moving from one hospital to another really worsened his injury, and the doctors had to work a lot to get him fixed up. Thankfully, they did, but he was not fully recovered. It took him 30 days to regain full consciousness, and even after that, the doctors told him that he would be paralyzed below the torso and would have to take the support of a wheelchair for the rest of his life, unless there was only one way to fully recover from this injury, and that was to reduce the amount of painkillers he was taking for his pain, and to increase the amount of physiotherapy that he was doing every day. Sandeep knew that he could not spend the rest of his life on a wheelchair, and he knew that he wanted to get back to the sport of hockey. That is something that really motivated him, which is why he kept off his meds and he increased the amount of physiotherapy that was required to help him get back up on his feet. Now, just imagine for a second, you're in blinding pain and you cannot take painkillers. That is such a bad situation to be in. But Sandeep went through that, overcame all the odds, and in 2007 got up back on his feet. Now, it took him another year to start playing hockey again. Slowly but steadily, he was back playing, first in his house, then slowly went back to his state teams, and then finally in 2008, after India failed to qualify for the Beijing Olympics, Sandeep Singh was called back. He was called back into the Indian squad, and in 2009 he had the biggest moment of his career. In the Sultan Azlan Shah Cup, he was adjourned the man of the tournament. It is one of the most prestigious tournaments in the sport of hockey, and he was named man of the tournament for his incredible show throughout the series. Even after that, it was still his biggest aim to take India to the Olympics, something that he hadn't achieved till then. So the 2012 London Olympics was his real target. Now, in the qualifiers of the 2012 London Olympics, Sandeep Singh created havoc. There was one particular game in which he scored 5 goals in just one game, that too in two quarters, not even a complete game. In just 2 quarters, he scored 5 goals, and in the entire tournament, he went on to score many more and became India's highest scorer in that tournament. He also broke Dhanraj Pillai's record for the most number of goals scored by an Indian in any particular tournament across the world, and thus he achieved his goal of helping India qualify for the Olympics. Now, after that, in 2016, after achieving so much in the sport, he finally retired from the game in 2016 and now serves as the sports minister of Haryana, helping the local and grassroots structure of various sport. Now, this is a hauntingly beautiful yet inspirational story of one of the greatest hockey players that India has produced. Thank you for watching. That's all for today. I'll see you again tomorrow.